साथ में एस्टर आर्मी ने गॉड्स रेन को हराया। अब आ गए हम लोअर ब्रैकेट पे एंड द रीजन आई सेड कि प्रेशर पूरी तरीके से इन टीम्स पे है बिकॉज आज जो हारा वो कह देगा अलविदा। तो आज इन दोनों टीम्स के बीच में जो मुकाबला होने वाला है, who can handle the pressure better, that is what we're going to find out in NODWIN Valorant Challenger split to playoffs के इस lower bracket matchup में। तो सबसे पहले let's call on the team that was in action yesterday as well. This is God's Reign. God's Reign कल के मुकाबले में ऐसा लगा नहीं था that it's going to be a straight shootout. जो दूसरा मैप था उसमें परफॉर्मेंस ऐसी लग रही थी that they would take it to the third map, but that didn't happen and they went down to ASTER Army 2-0. लेकिन उसकी वजह से, उस रिजल्ट की वजह से now they find themselves in a very tricky situation. क्योंकि अगर आज यहाँ पे हारे then it's time to go back home and that is the kind of script that they want to change and get a victory here so that इनके मौके, इनके chances जो हैं split to playoffs में बने रहें. That, ladies and gentlemen, is God's Reign. लेकिन आज उनके सामने कौन सी टीम है? इस टीम के भी बहुत सारे फैंस हैं लेकिन they unfortunately did not exceed those expectations. Taking on God's Reign today is Revenant. Revenant split to playoffs के पहले दिन एक्शन में थी and they went down to True Rippers. लेकिन True Rippers भी अपना मुकाबला Orangutan से हारे. Now both these teams that we saw on day one in the first matchup, well they're here now in the lower brackets. लेकिन Revenant के ऊपर ये pressure जो है वो कैसे बोलेगा? Because ये भी aware हैं कि this might be the final chance to make it count. दो teams जैसा मैं कह रहा हूँ जिनका एक बहुत ही passionate fan base है और आज वो fans जो हैं इनके ऊपर नजरें गड़ाए होंगे that they can actually go further in. Right, we've got the two teams, which means now it's time for business. Let's get the IGLs right down in the middle. Come on, boys. Get the IGLs here. Either right to Ace. Well, there's a lot of conversation happening as far as God's Reign is concerned. Okay, I want to reveal this. Tix, you came and have a conversation with us and you say you are not the IGL anymore. It's Sai. What's happening? Who's the IGL in this matchup?
It's Sai. We just thought the changes that we could make after the group stage would benefit the team a lot better, and so we're going to try those out in the playoffs.
For everyone seeing again, who's the IGL again?
Sai.
Why are you here?
I don't know.
He didn't want to come in.
I don't think so. I think he's camera shy.
Are things going wrong with the team right now?
No. I wouldn't say they're going wrong. We were just trying out different changes to see if we had a higher ceiling with different IGL.
All right. Revenant. बहुत सारे expectations आप लोगों पे थे, लेकिन disappoint किया है शायद आपके fans को. What do you have to say to them, man?
I mean, we tried our best. Last game was close. We just have to focus on the God's Reign game now. We have to give our best. It's a do and die for both of us. So yeah, let's have a good game.
Now, last game against ASTER, it was just yesterday. And we saw that they won the first map, and that was a little unpredictable, and the kind of map that you chose. But just considering the fact that in the second map, things were pretty much even Steven till the very end, where they managed to sneak in that victory. Did that hurt?
Yeah, it hurt. But I think after watching the VOD review, after watching the VOD back yesterday, last night, I think they deserved the win. I don't think we were playing our best at all. And I think they were the better team yesterday. So yeah, I think they deserved the win yesterday.
पिछली बार जब तुम लोग पहला मैप जीते थे उसके बाद ऐसा लगा कि यार तुम लोग तो चांद तक पहुंच जाओगे, लेकिन फिर जो 2 मैप हारे ऐसा लगा कि यार तुम तो छतरपुर का ट्रैफिक क्रॉस नहीं कर पा रहे हो भाई.
I mean, it happens. We had a good start. We struggled on Lotus. Gladly, it's not here right now in the current series. But yeah, it's Haven Ascent. We have not played a lot of Haven Ascent in the officials, and it would be a good game for sure.
All right, open your heart out because you've got a lot of fans who have a lot of expectations. This is do or die now. You lose, you go home. What do you want to say to those fans who are looking at you with a lot of hopes?
We're going to try our best. We're going to rely on the practice we've been doing for the past 3 months, 4 months leading up to this. This is do or die now for us, so we're going to give it our all, and hopefully it shows on the server.
You're right to ace. तुम्हारे fans को तुम क्या कहना चाहते हो?
I mean, I would say the same. We missed split 1, but yeah, here we are split 2. It's do or die. We have practiced a lot. It's not like we are just came here for fun, and yeah, we're going to win this series.
All right, boys, go join your teammates. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Johnny, you obviously heard. हमारे साथ 2 IGL नहीं थे. एक player था. IGL जो है वो God's Reign के लिए इस बार साया है. That's the big news coming in from the middle.
Oh, I guess we're seeing some switch-ups over here, Crips. And now the IGL is going to be Sai, a man who's going to take the charges finally back in his hands. He has been saying that he's got a lot of experience. Let's see how he's going to be able to implement that experience inside the battlefield against Revenant Esports this time.
That indeed will be quite exciting to see, you know. Up until now, we've seen the IGLing from the imports, and their playstyle has been quite nice in the way where they adapt to their opponents so far. But Sai has a very different form of IGLing. He's a lot more proactive. Back in 2021, so take it with a pinch of salt, this is a storyline from more than a year ago, almost 2 years ago at this point. He used to IGL for a freelance team, and at that point, his style of IGLing was very different because he used to have his team spread out in a lot of different areas, and they would behave a lot more individually than, you know, sticking together. At least now that the imports are, you know, just leading the team, they used to stick together as a fireman unit more often than spreading out. So maybe we'll get to see a lot more lurkish plays today from God's Reign. I think that might be the case. But then again, this is a storyline I'm drawing from many years ago when I used to see Sai IGL for another team. Of course, things might have changed over the course of 2022 and the first few months of 2023. So I don't know what to expect anymore, but I certainly have my expectations up on the roof.
I mean, yeah, nothing confirmed yet, but definitely that proactivity point that you brought up, they need that desperately. And if they're going to be starting off on defending side on whatever map they're going to be picking up inside the map veto, they definitely need to be a little bit more proactive than what we saw against ASTER. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to move on forward to the map veto, as God's Reign will be going for the first map ban. Last time we saw this team, they went for the counter bans, and yes, this time as well, they're going to do the same thing, banning out Bind right off the bat. Revenant Esports is going to reply back with Pearl.
I don't see the reason why Revenant Esports ban out Pearl. I think Revenant have a pretty good map of Pearl under their belt. I think they can actually take God's Reign on over there. But God's Reign instead pick up Haven. A lot more comfortable for them, which isn't really a surprise. Revenant pick up Ascent. Now, this I feel is a trap laid out by Revenant Esports. God's Reign ban out Bind, which was expected, but then again, on a lot of occasions, God's Reign have lost the map of Ascent to several teams. They were only able to win it once in the Split 1 playoffs. So Revenant pick up Ascent knowing that it doesn't necessarily have to be their strong map, but it is a map that God's Reign struggle on, so it's a targeted one.
I mean, look, considering you talked about the Pearl ban coming in from Revenant Esports, you said it is a decent map for them, but in the previous 2 series, when we've been watching Revenant, they have been banning Pearl consistently, so I guess this is sort of like their comfort ban at this point in time. But as we do move on forward and take a look at the agent select off this matchup, we're going to have the players locking in the agent soon enough. But as you said, it does seem like a trap so far. Haven has been one of the strongest maps for God's Reign, but then Revenant decided to pick that map. It's a 3-sided map. Of course, it pretty much on the attacking side will give a huge advantage to a team that is going to be aggressive. So let's see how Revenant's going to be playing this one out, as they're going to have Blackhawk as the controller. Once again, that simple lineup they usually like to use. On the other hand, God's Reign as well, no changes.
Alright then. No surprises over here. Not too many changes as per agent competitions, but the biggest change that we will be seeing today, of course, is that Sai is going to be IGLing for God's Reign, and that definitely will change things up. The timings at which these two teams fight, the way these two teams approach their lurking and consolidating grounds, all of that will be very, very different. Let's see what God's Reign bring to the table.
I'm excited to see how this matchup's going to unfold in front of us soon enough, as we're going to have God's Reign kicking things off on attack and Revenant Esports on the defense. Considering what type of a team Revenant Esports is, they like to take things a little aggressive, and you can take a look at in the minimap right off the bat too. You can see the Breach and Jet setting up each other for success. They're going to push out mid right off the bat. This should give them a lot of confirmed information, since Josh is going to be getting a lot of map control soon enough. Seaside's going to be in the take for them, and God's Reign will have a clean stroll on the Seaside so far. Blackhawk has conveyed the information. And once again, the players on the flanks from Revenant Esports are also gathering quite a lot of vital information. If Josh is able to find the first opening here, the first pick, things can be changed by quite a lot. Size way too low for comfort. Now we'll need to try and fall back and play safe.
Autumn, though, he's trying to manage things on the other end of this map, and the shock dart does deal quite a lot of damage to him. Ace follows up really well. Now that the smoke on Garage has faded away, the assault can begin, and the trades are going back and forth all the way through. It's Paradox who's picked up a triple, and this will be very, very impactful, because now Sai is trapped over there. He already took way too much damage from Josh's Sheriff, especially because he was wallbanging him, and then that his teammates have fallen on the side itself. It's all thanks to Paradox, who's picked up the Breach today once again. It's quite nice to see Paradox also switching up roles every now and then, right? Usually you see him quite often on the Raze, especially when there is bind, so he can play the Duelist, but he can also play the Breach, so he sets up his teammates for success as well. And that is indeed wonderful. That versatility that Paradox can bring to the table is very, very exciting. I mean, I've been lucky enough to even see him play as a Yoru once upon a time. I wish we get to see it at some point in VCSA, but it's quite unlikely. Once again, a mid push out. And this time there's a Paranoia to help them out as well. 2 easy kills for Revenant.
Yeah, it could have been way too close in that one. But yeah, it makes sense why he's going to let, or why he's at least going to prioritize Josh over him when it comes to that duelist role. Josh has been proven time to time how good he is on that role. But yeah, for now, it's going to be an absolute cleanup from Revenant. As expected, an anti-eco, so they're going to be winning it no matter what. But still, I mean, when we look at other teams in the anti-eco, they still take things a little slow, considering you are starting off on the defending side. But it's Revenant Esports. They pushed up from all the different sides and pretty much got the God's Reign side in a deadlock.
Well, let's see if they can get them into a deadlock once again. Some weapons over here, especially the Ares and the Bulldog, they have the range. And I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while since I've seen someone pick up the Ares. So, yeah, that will be quite exciting. But God's Reign, I think they're gonna start things off on a slow note once again. They know for a fact that Revenant having Spectres will push up and try to close the distance. Especially because of this dark cover that's been placed towards a lobby. Someone will try to push the envelope. And that someone is Josh this time. He's also got the backup from right to Ace, but Ace isn't in a position to help him trade. Maybe the shock darts can get it, but that's quite unlikely. And while there is aggression towards a long from Revenant, God's Reign once again abused the Seaside.
Yeah, seems like Seaside has been neglected quite a lot of times. And look at Tix, he haven't even activated that alarm bot yet. So hopefully Paradox is going to be aware of the fact that there might just be someone right next to him that will be peeking him out soon enough. If it's got the perfect timing, but no, Tix instead is just going to hold that angle down. He finds the first one, second one will be following it up, and Paradox shuts him down. A good full stop to that story right then and there. Sidream still holding the flank angles on, will shut anyone down that tries to get the lurk down. Sidreams from the back lines, this time not able to find the second one, but it's a 2-on-3 scenario against the players of Revenant Esports. Not having the man advantage stacked up, this can definitely be a little bit of more devastating situation, but no, that's not going to be the case. Instead, it's Paradox shutting down the player in the front, and now even in the opponent's side, Hoax is quite softened up. The Hoax cannot afford to just go ahead on his head first and follow what you're saying. Blackhawk went for the stick, but unfortunately not going to be able to get it done.
That's true. It's rather unfortunate. But you can start to see glimpses of why Sai is IGLing today. I guess it's partially because he's prepared all these weaknesses that Revenant Esports possess, right? He's found gaps on the C site in 2 consecutive rounds now. One in the pistol round and now another one in the buy round. Plus, Sai himself was holding towards the mid window so late into the round, especially after his teammates had already committed the plant. And that's because he knew that Ace will come in for a backstab. So maybe because of all this information, Sai is being the IGL today. But all the information can't save them from a judge at this range. Autumn put to an early grave.
That is just such an unfortunate start for them. Just right on face of Autumn, not a start he wanted to have. Revenant Esports so far, this time they've got the C-side on a huge watch. They're not going to let anyone pass on as Blackhawk went for a little bit of more aggressive peek. Gets a little ahead of himself and yeah, will be chopped off this time. So far, it's a 4-on-4 scenario. Man advantage neutralized. God's Ring 2 taking their sweet time. Slow and steady approach is going to be the name of the game.
4 for 4, and there's plenty of time left on the clock, so Godswin can still make a move. Keep in mind that in yesterday's game, Godswin were actually running out of time quite often on their attacking side. I hope that's not a problem they face once again. But when C-side is being given away for free this often, I don't think Godswin will have any problems whatsoever. Unless takes TPs into a nano and dies. Just escapes in the nick of time.
Oh! Or you've got Chingo just striking down anyone that stands against him. Nicely done. 2 kills already found. Ching has pretty much done 90% of the work for his teammates. And the last one's going to get cleaned up as well. One more to go in the name of Sai, who's already on the long side. He's trying his best to play for the post plant, but will be denied eventually.
That's quite nice. Re-engagement from Revenant Esports is actually working out quite often, and now you can start to see why they are so comfortable giving away the C-side to God's Reign. Revenant basically kickstart the retake before the spike is even planted. They're just so fast in the re-aggression. The spike goes down on the ground and Hoax doesn't even get to take a step away from that area.
Rolling Thunder and Lockdown available in the hands of Revenant Esports, so that should be utilized in a retake scenario. Once again, considering knowing what sort of a team Revenant Esports is, they like to be a little proactive right off the bat, and just like that, once again, getting a massive man advantage secured in their hands, and now the Guardians and even the Bulldogs gonna strike in way better. Josh is too, just trying to get real up close and personal against his opponents, and the shorty's being pulled out, and Revenant Esports, you blink it and you miss it. Oh, man.
That's true. You blink and you miss within a matter of seconds. Everything is just gone. But then again, you can kind of let go of this round, right? God's Reign didn't have much to lose anyway. But now they have a lot to gain and plenty of firepower at their disposal. Not only the weapons, but also all these massive ultimates. Hunter's Fury, Lockdown, Rolling Thunder, all of these capable of clearing entire swaths of the map. And once again, the C-side is being left open. I mean, I can understand the C-side is being left open on the back of some KJ utility, but this is absolutely nothing. Not even a single gadget's present over there. So God's Reign can continue spamming in here.
Honestly, a massive gamble these guys are taking over here. And look at, oh, Josh is just dashing on face of Side Dreams. Saw the Nightmare approaching him in that owl drone. Also, we'll be utilizing Lockdown right here before he's got a challenger approaching him soon enough, and the ball will be dealt with. Ching able to get 2 of his own. Nicely done. Ching is pretty much able to put in so much work for his teammates. He's doing 90% of the work all by himself for his team, and even Paradox to strike back down anyone that stands against him. Autumn was able to get 1, but that's all he's going to find.
I kind of feel like the lockdown that was placed by Vibhor was a little bit of a desperation lockdown.
Yeah,
it doesn't cover most of the site. It doesn't even stop Revenant Esports from coming in. And that's the thing about Revenant, right? They will easily flood into the site before the plant even goes down. They know for a fact that the moment one person commits to the plant, it's an instant 4v5 because one of them is busy. And that's when they will just collapse upon you. Great presence of mind from Josh too. The moment he hears the drone take its wings, he puts on his wings, dashes into Sai's face. And then Ching also, applying so much pressure. He comes in a little bit late to the backstab, but it still gets the job done.
Oh, does Autumn know that Josh is in this corner? I highly doubt he's got any information of that, but yeah, Hoax is going to spot him out. So Autumn should be ready with this one, but no, instead he catches haircut onto himself. Luckily enough, he's alive because the bullet sort of penetrated through the wall first and then his skull. So yeah, he's alive, but not a lot of HP.
At least there's no casualties yet. But look at the amount of control Jing has. He's so deep inside. 6 whole rounds of not taking C control at all. And now Revenant Esports are literally in their spawn. That deep.
Definitely. Revenant Esports just being so proactive. So quick on their approaches too. Paranoia utilized too to get the entry done with the breach done. Now that was a good combination, but still it's not going to be enough to stop the wave of Revenant Esports as they are just going to mow down every single person of God's Green. Even the classics are not going to start a strike in. Right to Ace was able to get 4K. What?
Was that a classic collateral?
Need a drop.
I need to see a replay. That was too quick for me to even believe. I've seen AWP collaterals. I've seen Guardian collaterals, but never really a classic collateral, you know? Show me. Yes, thank you, Mr. Observer.
30 seconds. One enemy remaining.
Sheesh! That's a classic collateral! What did I just witness over here? Oh my god, okay, I must admit, I've never seen that. And he doesn't even see the second guy. That's a bonus frag for him. Since yesterday, so many members of God's Reign are just being taken down without even seeing their enemies through smokes. They just get unlucky all the time. Oh my god, the curse continues. But hey, while Revenant Esports do have a little bit of lucky shots on their side, there is quite a lot of tactical element present over here as well. The first 5 to 6 rounds of the game, they don't take control of C at all, and now they have Ching pushed all the way down towards the bottom of C. I think that's a case of classical conditioning.
Indeed it is. It feels like the C side is pretty much like a trap. I mean, yeah, once they were able to successfully get the post plant down as well, but then later 2 rounds when they try to replicate the same thing, they got countered hard.
Right.
So yeah, C side, even though that's an open one and they're highly playing that on just a retake, it just seems like a trap. And now look at this one. A huge change in the setups this time now. This time, Revenant Esports are going to be focusing a little bit more on the C side, and on A, they've only got 1 player present. And that too on an aggressive note. He's playing so aggressive towards main. You can see it's right to Ace. Just playing for that first contact. As soon as he spots anyone, we'll probably try to fall back to safety instead of challenging that duel. But I like this setup on the C site. There's 1 player present in the cubby. As soon as the player in the cubby takes the contact, there's a high chance Josh will peek out and try to get the refrag.
Yep, it's a classic trap setup, and Revenant Esports have set this up beautifully. God's Reign though, after falling prey so many times, they will take things very, very slowly. And surprisingly, because Revenant have pushed not that deep into C-Long this time, I would have expected them to have some presence towards A shot, but they're not showing that either. Oh, Blackhawk, over-eager, and he pays for it with his life. Side gets that kill, and now the C side has been blown open. Execute coming inside. Oh, but the AWP! It's devastating!
Yeah, considering, this man is just, he's got balls of steel. Josh still stays on the site, goes for 2 operator shots, gets 2 kills confirmed, and Revenant Esports, once again, a hot knife through butter. That's how easy it is for them to counter the entire squad of God's Reign. Josh, I mean, as I said, balls of steel. This man was not scared, even though he saw the entire team of God's Reign just marching on towards him on the C site. He still stayed there, anchored it down, got 2 kills, and then got killed.
Yep, Josh basically acting like a superhero over there. Plus, God's Reign became a bit too stubborn over there, you know. They continued pushing inside despite knowing that the AWP is present, despite the lockdown. They were hoping they will be able to swarm the site quickly enough and then break the lockdown as well. But that has always been a problem for them. This time it's a very fast push in towards Garage, but I don't think it's a commitment. They break the turret and they fall back. Unfortunately, because Revenant are physically clearing these angles, they know what's happening. So God's Reign can't hope to sell a fake just by breaking Killjoy utility.
God's Reign trying to be the sneaky assassins. 7-1's the scoreline so far. It's completely one-sided. Vibor realizes Stinger's not going to sting anyone in that range, so you might as well try to back off and play it for a little bit of more fair chance into taking down your opponents. Hunter's Fury is in the hands of Right to Ace, so as soon as any confirmation is going to be spotted, he will probably try to use that to delay the push for a little bit longer. First shot missed. Revenant Esports, they're going to try to strike back even stronger, but no, this time the resistance is being denied by Godsreen. Nicely done. A 3-on-5 scenario. The spike goes down as well. Josh not able to find that initial contact. That's where things sort of went down.
Blackhawk's position is known, but because he hasn't been killed yet, he can apply pressure from both the sides. And the pressure now starts to mount up. Blackhawk earlier with the first kill. Josh strikes in with the second, and now they start to fall apart. It's all up to Autumn, and he's doing a really good job in hell. He will be the messiah that sends them up to heaven. God's reign, take their second.
But Revenant Esports, they're chilling when it comes to the economy. Look at Right to Ace, 9,000 credits. Max. This man is rich. Yeah, and instant tactical timeout too from Revenant Esports, even though Godsreen just won that one single round. But yeah, it is a sign of concern considering Godsreen didn't even have the superior weaponry. They managed to just breach inside the site and managed to shut down any single player that tried to show resistance against that control. So this tactical timeout should be there for Revenant Esports to know exactly what went wrong in that previous round and how could they try to deal with that situation in some different way.
At least this A-side take worked out for them. Now, I understand it's partially because they had to just shoot their way inside. They didn't have a tactical edge, right? God's range just used the standard smokes, they used the standard flashes and everything to get inside. And yeah, the op shots were missed by Josh. Even the dash was mistimed, so understandably so, they didn't get stopped in their tracks. And then even the Stingers and Sheriff started to get the kills, so unless God's Reign start hitting their shots and start replicating rounds like this again and again, getting back in this game will be difficult.
You know why Godsreen are losing with such a massive margin? Guess, make a guess.
Why?
Here.
It's because Godspeed is not eating the momos, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all the momo buff, bro. We need to get him some momos, please. Someone listening to me, get this man a box of momos right now. His brain will be activated. Let's go. Godsreen need that buff right now as I speak about that. The trades happen back and forth. A 3-on-4 scenario though so far. So Revenant Esports, they're going to find themselves in the lucky shoes as they've got the man advantage up. But Autumn in the close quarters is going to try to take this up close and personal. And it doesn't seem like Blackhawks got any clue that Autumn's this close.
It's danger close. And Autumn will really have to just play on the back of this timing. If he can hear them rotate away, that will be massive information that he can pass to his team. And his team currently on the verge of sneaking into C will run into the alarm bot. So as soon as that alarm bot gets activated, Revenant will start to rotate, and that's when Autumn will strike. Anytime now. Blackhawk vulnerable, killed as well. And Autumn has done his job, but the Cloud Burst stops him from getting refragged by Paradox. Luckily, Ching is right around the corner, so he can do what Paradox cannot. But his teammates haven't taken control of C yet. They were supposed to have planted already. Now this becomes a bit difficult unless Tix can alleviate the pressure. Good stuff. But hold on, they're still not planting. They're actually going for the kills? That's a very unique way to deal with these problems. Just shoot your opponents in the head. That's a good way to win the round, I guess, yeah?
Indeed it is. Do what's unexpected. You don't really expect the players of Godsreen to be that aggressive, I guess, and that's where Revenant sort of got caught off guard. They did not expect anyone to be that aggressive towards the smoke, but this positioning, this overall setup, this adjustment from Godsreen that they try to showcase, one player outside B really close towards the entrance, that was a good one. Pretty much caught Blackhawk off guard right then and there. That means controller out of the game, so retake potential gets a little bit tougher.
It's a lot tougher. And Revenant are the kind of team that will start borderline retaking as soon as the plant is heard, as soon as the spike is tapped.
Oh my god.
And that's a tendency that Godsreen recognized, so that's exactly why they knew they could go for the fights. But this time, they will fight fire with fire. They've got enough money to get an AWP in the hands of Autumn, and he's been lacking this Zoom Mango weapon since quite some time. Maybe some more easy opening frags will be awarded to them. Never mind though. Ching doesn't need to see his enemies. Oh, he definitely doesn't. The wood is his best friend. Acts like an X-ray vision area, and he can just get so many kills just by wall banging.
Oh, this aggressive push from Josh. I thought he might just have the surprise element, but not anymore, I guess, once he's been dealt with. One thing's for sure, it seems like Godsreen, the pressure, as you mentioned, it's starting to subside, and you can clearly see with the way they're playing, they're not playing scared at all. They're trying to challenge these duels, and it's something that's definitely working out. A 1-on-3 situation. Sai, this man has been able to pull off clutches like these a lot of times, but not this time when you're playing against Blackhawk.
Revenant Esports, they're really showing us why they are one of the most aggressive teams. And they're also combining it with a lot of brain games. They keep God's Reign guessing. I mean, I kind of feel bad for them now, don't I? Because they saved up so much. They were able to win a couple of rounds, finally have an AWP. And he doesn't even get to fire a single shot before he loses it. Once again, fast push out from C via Revenant Esports, but God's Reign are making up for it by taking A lobby control.
Indeed they are. Lockdown's available in the hands of Chings once again. Ultimate's primed. Same thing goes on the opposite side as well, as Hoax has got his hands on the Rolling Thunder. And yeah, he's going to try to use it to get the side control in the hand. I like this game plan for Godsreen. If they're going to find a good timing against the opponents, then of course it will be a date with Destiny, but no. Revenant Esports, the players fall back, so that's not going to affect them quite a lot. So yeah, the ultimate was available to get the side control in the hands, but no bodies will be found. Good shock darts to soften up the players a little bit more, and they're going to try to go for the plant. Hunter's Fury used as well by Side Dreams to find anyone, and also get rid of that lockdown.
Yep, now that the lockdown's out, it's all up to God's Reign to continue holding on to their crossfires. The Aftershock doesn't clear out hell, and this could be big. Even the Paranoia isn't able to break the crossfire. Instead, it's sent towards the default side, and it's perfect! It all works out! Revenant Esports get all the kills they require.
And they also have the Rolling Thunder left over. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Revenant Esports.
Just creep his opponents and throw him off the spike.
His own teammates is like,
yeah, Reef is his own teammate, sorry, my bad.
But yeah, now we're going to be moving on forward to the second half. 9-3 scoreline. Listen, there's going to be a lot of superstitious people saying that there's a high chance this 9-3 core scoreline might as well be the curse, but let's be honest, with the way this game's been going so far, they're just being proven straight up unparalleled. Revenant Esports, in all the aspects of the game so far, they're just able to strike down God's Reign, and God's Reign are just being proven unparalleled, Crips.
Exactly, the aggression from God's Reign, it really isn't showing at all. The aggression from Revenant, on the other hand, it is unstoppable. And I guess God's Reign also need a little bit of that aggression in the second half, so let's see if they can get it back or not.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want a game.
The all-new Omen 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The Omen 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen Next. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the second half of the first map of this entire series, Haven. Now, the scoreline was 9-3, as I said. There might be a lot of superstitious people saying that the 9-3 scoreline or the 9-3 curse might just come true. But let's see. It's all going to boil down to this pistol round. This is where it's all going to come down to.
God's Reign need this quite desperately. I don't think I need to implode on any more... I don't think I need to speak about how important this really is. The impact can really be felt, but God's Reign, they give up the C-side temporarily because of the overwhelming amount of utility that Revenant threw at them. But they try to dive out of the smokes, and they fail. Josh with a nice double spray down. Vapor tries to replicate the same, but he's splashed, and he can't get anything done. Oh no, God's Reign tried to pull off a page out of Revenant's playbook, but they failed to do so. They can't do the same thing that Revenant can. They can't use the same timing window.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, it's all down to Sai now. 1-on-2. Right, 2 aces, but it's not going to matter. Oh, boy. Trying to pull out the shock dart. I mean, that could have been a good move if Revenant Esports did not peek out. But again, you got to consider the fact that you're playing against Revenant Esports, and they will peek you out no matter what. This is an aggressive team, so you got to expect that one. So, yeah. Sai being shut down. The first pistol round in the second half, or at least the second pistol round in this entire map, goes in the hands of Revenant Esports. So already the chances of God's Reign winning this first map are quite thinner. And as we said, for God's Reign, this has been the strongest map inside the entire South Asian journey that we've seen so far. And God's Reign, they're being defeated on their own home ground.
God's Reign picked this up as a comfort one. No team can really just claim Haven for themselves because every team follows almost the same composition, so it's not like someone brings something really unique to the table, right? Even Revenant, for that matter, they're playing really well, but it's not like they're pulling off a really crazy strat or they're showing us something that we've never seen before. The only thing that we saw, which is rare, was that classic collateral. That's probably it. But other than that, if God's Reign can't even make it work on their comfort pick, then this is really a concern. But Autumn, now he's starting to get activated. Nice shot. He's taken off Josh immediately. And it's quite a big stack from God's Reign towards the C side. So if Revenant continue pursuing this side, they will be walking into a trap. They recognize this. They are aware about the danger and they fall back just in time. But then comes Sai. He too has an idea that Revenant will rotate away to the A side and he makes adjustments appropriately. If he can get the timing right, this would be a lovely backstab.
Can be. But Revenant Esports, yeah, they're probably going to try to leave some sort of utility that'll give the presence away of the lurker. And Sai's heard the alarm bot. So the confirmation should be given away soon enough that there might just be an A hit coming in. A quick stroll on the A side, not going to be any problems at all. The Marshal's going to strike, a little tag found, but it's not going to matter at all. Sai trying to close in from the back line's position, capitalized, didn't compromise, but it's not going to matter. Hoax instead, he's going to be the one to come out on top. Nicely done for God's Reign. So far, they're also having the man advantage set up, but then you've got Revenant Esports just taking the firepower against their opponents, and now it's all down to right to 8, so 1-on-3 scenario. An entire army of God's Reign marching against him. What was that shot from right to ace? Sai did not even get a glimpse of his opponent, and he already went to sleep.
That's just perspective for you. And right to ace also pre-firing really well. Sound sense is immaculate, knowing exactly when his opponent will peek him. He starts pre-firing as he fades across the corner. And that's all he requires.
Dude, look at this. Oh my god. Oh, that's just disgusting.
Sheesh.
Oh man. And then Sohatu says, my babushka told me. What did she tell you, man?
She told him that your opponents fear you. You don't need to see your opponents when you can smell their fear. Babushka also probably makes some great baklava, so that's a different drink for another day. But Hoax this time takes a risk by jumping into the smoke, and Josh takes an even bigger risk of challenging him dry, and he pays the price for it.
Oh, Revenant. The confidence should be boosted to Cloud 9 right now. Scotsreen once again. I mean, they have managed to get a little bit of 4 spies on their hands so far.
Here.
For Revenant, though, they need to play this one a little safer, as they lost out on quite a lot of weapons in the previous round. But this time, Autumn, that aggressive push is not going to work out because the Stingers are going to sting a little bit better in the close quarters, and that's what happens as Autumn's going to get dealt with. And now Hoax as well is quite low, only on 47 HP, is still managing to stay alive somehow, trying his best to fire back against his opponent. Good pick from Tix, but the instant trade, the return back is there from Right to Ace. And once again, he's going to be the last one alive as well. Not a lot of HP, 10 HP only. Ooh, I thought he could have got that spray transfer down.
Yeah, but this is quite a good round from God's Reign. They not only needed to win, but also needed to keep a lot of their weapons alive, and they survived with 3 guns in the hands. So that's quite nice. They avoid a lot of economic damage, and they can continue steamrolling this momentum forward. But they will have to keep it going for a very long time. Revenant have way too good of a lead, and they also have the Hunter's Fury already. This should easily facilitate them to clear up a site. At least the more common angles will easily be cleared out by the big laser beams. Now, I do believe that Autumn is ready for a fast A-shot push. Fault line comes through. And while Autumn doesn't get to see anyone, that's okay because the rest of his teammates are also playing quite aggressively towards B. That's a dry peek by Sai, and nope, Ching is not gonna challenge this. She just fades away.
Yeah, still a decent amount of utilities left over on both the sides. Unfortunately for Hoax, though, his majority utility kit has been burnt out. He's only got a flash left over. Let's see what he's going to be able to accomplish with that one. As God's Reign, they've got 2 players up and alive on the A side. The third one might just be rotating towards it. And Hunter's Fury is available in the hands of Right to Ace, but he will only try to use it if things get a little too dicey for his team and they're not able to make it inside the site or maybe in the post-plant scenarios. But so far, Revenant Esports, we're seeing quite a massive change in the pace.
Indeed. Oh, this is a good pace. It's a good trap as well, the fault line and the Hunter's Fury. This should be a death sentence. But somehow Hoax survives long enough only to get shot down by Blackhawk. And now it's up to Sai to make it work. He tries to use the smoke, but he gets shot by Ace, who comes across a little bit late. The timing is just simply not expected. Wibor left to his own devices, and now he's been buried and sliced up into pieces.
Match point.
Unfortunate stuff, and now we're also going to move on forward to the map points. There is Rolling Thunder in the hands of Hoax, and we're seeing an instant tactical timeout being pulled out. You might as well try to use it, right, if you've got something saved up. And yeah, Godspeed, I'm pretty sure he's going to be having some choice word to give it on to his teammates. On the other hand, you also see Revenant's coach making some call-outs. He knows now it's just time to put the nail in the coffin.
Bring your tools, bring your hammers and screwdrivers. Seal this coffin as tightly shut as possible. This is the map pick of God's Reign, and unfortunately, in the playoffs so far, they have been having a streak of not being able to win their own map picks. They, of course, make it nice and competitive on the second map. But so far, this looks like a done game already. You can feel the dejection on Godspeed's face.
Yeah, Godspeed doesn't seem like too, happy with what's going on right now. It makes a lot of sense. And usually, I don't think so he even shows a lot of emotions in general, right? He's quite like he has a neutral face most of the time. Stoic one.
Quite the opposite of Vandalic.
Honestly, I like coaches that show a lot of expressions, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's entertaining to watch.
So I feel quite entertained when I watch Godspeed, but that's because I'm, friends with him to some extent.
Yeah.
So I can understand his emotions. But Vandalic...
Oh, like you're able to read his emotions. That's some good friendship right there.
Oh, look at this rolling thunder. It keeps Revenant at bay, but I feel like it's been invested a bit too early. Revenant can just easily give up on Garage, where they've been hit by the rolling thunder, and continue hitting the rest of the side from C long. Nice shot. Side does get the tag out, but he doesn't really kill Ching. At least the damages Paradox also quite well, so it does make the job of God's Reign a little bit easier, but in a 3v5, no matter how many men you have alive, it still doesn't matter. You can probably catch Ching off guard, takes with the timing, comes through, but now he's got a near impossible task on his hands. Oh, and he's doing it piece by piece. First step, get rid of Josh. And he's done that, but the time is ticking.
Oh, just trying to make sure that the opponent team's gonna fall down. As you mentioned, one after the other, they are actually falling down as well. Ticks only 6 HP, way too low. And cannot clutch this one out. God's Reign, they're defeated on their own home ground, the map of Haven, a map that has been so solid for this team, but Revenant Esports proved them unparalleled on this map as they claim the victory against God's Reign, at least on the first one. The upcoming map is going to be the map of Ascent, which soon enough we're going to head on forward to that map, but this one was quite an entertaining one, that's for sure. Revenant Esports sticking to their basics, that's what they like to do, go aggressive against the opponent team.
They stick to the basics, they click heads, and they get the job done, and they do it quite fast. 13-4, that's a nice sweep up. Speedy too. And now we head into the second map after the short break, ladies and gentlemen. Although on the other side of the short break, you will also see some stats, and I believe they will be very, very different from both these teams. At least in yesterday's matchup, we saw that God's Reign were able to keep the numbers a little more competitive, but this time, every single member of Revenant Esports is far ahead in terms of kills than God's Reign. So we'll take a look at that and the second map on the other side of the short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple things, I get it in.
Feeling under pressure.
Is not going to be a problem for them, but they have never played on Ascent. This will be the first time we see Revenant Esports on Ascent in the VCSA, so there's always a little element of surprise. Meanwhile, for God's Reign, we have seen them play Ascent quite a lot, but they haven't always been successful on it, you know? There have been times in the past where they have defeated teams like Reckoning Esports on Ascent, and even True Rippers for that matter, which is quite impressive. But then they've lost to Reckoning as well on another occasion. They lost to Velocity, ASTER, Godlike too. So it is a bit weird.
I mean, sort of like a 50-50 chance, right? Once again, as I said,
Exactly.
Revenant, they're going to be just dropping inside the battlefield with an element of surprise. We don't know if they're going to be playing good against God's Reign or if they're going to fall down, crumble apart against him. But so far, speaking about the momentum, the chances of Revenant Esports coming through victorious with a dominating lead are quite high. On the other hand, speaking about God's Reign, they've also defeated some of the teams like Reckoning Esports, True Rippers in the past. So yeah, it is a decently strong map, but still nothing can be said. In general, the mysterious aura is going around. But ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to head inside the map of Ascent, we're going to kick things off with a pistol round with Revenant Esports on attack and God's Reign on defense.
It's quite interesting to see how the players of God's Reign are already having their crosshairs positioned up on top in case the Sova arrows land over there. So I basically expecting what he himself would do if he was a Sova, and here comes the V assault anyway. Tix easily able to mow down two people, and now it's up to Autumn. He has to turn around, which he's capable of doing so, but Paradox comes in a little late, and he's finally suppressed him. But there is very little space left to plant. Paradox will have to fight his way to somehow buy space for his teammate to get that spike planted, and he's done so. Instant 2v2, but Vibor turns it around.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, good shots from right to Ace. Trying to return back to favor. Only 29 HP. Way too close for comfort. But Sai clutches us out. Nicely done, that one-on-one scenario. But once again, God's Reign able to win that first round. Still way too close for comfort. Now, considering it's going to be an anti-eco, let's see how this one's going to be playing out, because Revenant Esports is one of those teams that has a massive chance of winning even those anti-ecos.
Yep, that's true. I love it. I love how Tix is able to get so many kills over there like that. And he's always been a pistol round demon, you know? Him, the pistol round demon. Autumn is the bonus round demon. And as long as these demons start actually doing satanic stuff, then God's Reign definitely will be able to post up some resistance over here. If it's anything like Haven, then I don't know, man. Then I guess Revenant will run away with a 2-0 lead. They will send God's Reign packing from the tournament. Two smokes to win main, run from either side. But no contact from anyone. So Revenant can take that ultimate orb and fall back. Meanwhile, they've managed to get Blackhawk into that vine position. And while he will continue staying here, listening to footsteps, gathering information, you have Ching making contact towards B.
Oh, contact taken. Revenant Esports, though, on the other hand, even they are taking things slowly. And I guess they're going to fall back towards the B main as Ching has managed to sneak in decently towards the B main area. A good 0 point gives his position away, but Gosrian might as well just have this false sense of security that there's only one player present. Their side jumps into a massive trap, and he will be dealt with. Not a good news, or not a way they wanted to start this round off. And Taiko already starting off with a massive advantage in the hands of Revenant Esports, but still the gun's disadvantage will probably count in soon enough. Takes able to neutralize things out, also able to get the second one, and now it's going to start to line them up on top of each other. It's an absolute graveyard on the A sites.
Oh no, he almost got the ace! Ran out of bullets in the Bulldog, and he can't switch to the Classic quick enough. But hey, that's still quite nice. That nice 4K from Takes will definitely amp up his morale. Get him the ultimate as well. Now, if only it was someone else, you know, Omen ultimates on Ascent aren't exactly the most impactful ultimates. And that's coming from me, an Omen main myself. I hate playing Omen on Ascent, but still, if it was any other ultimate, like let's say the Lockdown or maybe let's say the Hunter's Fury, this would easily give them a massive edge. And that would really make things difficult for Revenant because they now have the superior weaponry.
Standing ahead.
A big damaging ultimate can be a massive deterrent, but Revenant Esports look to take the bull by its horns, just aggressing out straight up, walking in.
And yeah, maybe this time Revenant Esports will probably be able to put a full stop on whatever Godsreen have been trying to build up. And yeah, Josh is looking at this man once again on top of Haven. He's just looking for anyone to peek out of that smoke, and that's the nice thing. Josh is probably going to line him up, and yeah, Blackhawk with that single spray. That single burst, actually. Both of them just straight up walking those bullets. Nicely done. Revenant Esports able to win that buy round. Now this is where they will be put to a 2-test as the opponents will also have better weaponry in their hands. Vandals and Phantoms on the board once again.
Oh, now that Revenant Esports have managed to avoid the bull and take it by its horns, they will have to do it once again. This time with God's Reign having superior weaponry. Although I must say, Revenant were just basically able to win that previous round on the back of firepower. They didn't start the execute right away. They were hoping to make a contact play first. They didn't use too much utility. This time the 0 point from Valorant has been used towards short already. Meanwhile, Oaks hasn't used his own 0 point, you know, he's probably saving it for a better occasion. They use Sai's recon dart and find nothing on B. And that should give them a fair idea about what's happening. A mid plus B crunch is in process, and Autumn, he makes first contact, but he can't dash away to safety. There's no one to help him out. Vipor is too deep inside, and Sai definitely will try to avenge his fallen teammate, but it's too little, too late. It's all down to Tix now. He has been phenomenal in this position before, but this time he doesn't even see his opponents. The flashes from Paradox are absolutely nuts. They're perfect.
What am I watching in front of me? God's Reign are falling down like a piece of puzzle, or pretty much like a card house. Is that what you call it? A card house?
Yeah,
gonna stack,
card house, house of cards.
Yeah. But yeah, like, dude, this is not even a joke. Revenant Esports is making this look way too easy at this point, and this is a massive point of concern. Like, God's Reign, they need to start thinking about this right here, right now. They need to start putting a lot of pressure onto themselves.
Revealing action.
Oh, that's quite risky. Oaks just barely escapes death, surviving by the skin of his teeth. And now, given the HP he's got, it's much more appropriate of him to just continue scouting for information using his util. Doesn't see anyone towards a shot yet, but that's by design. Revenant Esports, they make a lot of noise towards A main. They make contact, and then they just hold this area after leaving one person in vine. Last time it was Blackhawk, this time it's Josh who's holding the area, and the rest of the teammates go elsewhere. Now, they have plenty of options, right? They can also go towards mid, where no physical person is marking the location, but there's just one alarm bot. No, not even an alarm bot. It's Ching's alarm bot. They can go in via a shot. Autumn with the shorty gets the stuff done, but Tix is still alive over here. And Hoax's splashes can be a massive deterrent. Dig speaks on the back of it, and that's great. And it dives another one! What on earth did I just see? Tix with so many massive Sheriff kills.
Indeed, Tix able to just pull it in their hands back from the Death's grip. Godsreen once again somehow able to spring back into action. 3-2 is the scoreline. But yeah, Tix, that heroic play was something that saved them today. But once again, he cannot keep on relying on those heroic plays over and over again. Yeah, this right here, man. Oh, huge.
Thrifty.
Sheesh. So I was kind of correct when I called him a pistol round demon, right? Although we didn't get to see that demonics in the pistol round, but we definitely saw it when he has the Sheriff. Tix single-handedly turns the tide around, and this keeps God's Reign competitive again. I was worried that Revenant will start to run away with the momentum, especially when they broke the economy. But then again, you have to admit there were quite some faults over here. Revenant Esports fell down only to the heroics of one man, but tactically, they were still a little ahead. They did manage to bamboozle God's Reign. The backup had not arrived on time from God's Reign, you know? It was just Hoax and Tix holding there by themselves. The rest of the team was yet to make its way over towards the A site. And if Revenant can somehow replicate these rotation delays, force them out of God's Reign again and again, then I think they will have a much better chance of winning.
Bladestorm's in the hands of Autumn, while the rest of the team of Revenant, they've got a 0 point from the Shadows and even Hunter's Fury. Some nice utilities, some nice ultimates, which they can try to use once again to burst inside a sight and surprise their opponent, catch him off guard. Instantly you see the 0 point pot and the null command popped out as well. Hunter's Fury used as well to make sure that there's no one going to be the one to hold the close quarters. Autumn with the short, he pulls out, but he gets dealt with too. Tix still alive in the back lines of the B site. So far is making sure he's going to be the one to anchor it down and not let anyone put a step on that site. Ching peeks out, able to shut down Vapor and also cut off the rotation that could have been there potentially, but then Ching is going to be more than enough to take care of the last two players.
Oh my god, Ching really just being the savior of this team over here. Stays behind, he doesn't dive into the site with the rest of his team, which is something you would expect most Killjoys to do, right, since they want to plant that nano swarm on the spike. But nope, he continues staying near the market door, and this really makes things easier for Revenant Esports because Paradox doesn't then have to worry about anything else. Even though he got down instantly, the null command kept it possible for his teammates to stay free of utility, not getting shut down by anything else. Oh, but look at this push out from God's Reign. It's quite ambitious. This is a massive tiles crunch. And since they don't see anyone over here, they will try to quickly pivot towards a shot, but it's a bit too late. Vapor's already down, and so is the spike.
Spike planted.
Spike's gonna go down too. As Ching pulls out the gun once again in his hands. Oh, it's a little dink onto his head. Even Autumn able to shut down Ching in the long ranges, and now, once again, God's Reign, this retake's going to be activated. Bladestorm spotted out right to Ace in the back lines of the site. On the other hand, Paradox as well in quite an off angle, looking to catch anyone off guard and surprise the opponents. Right to Ace able to return back to Farah, and now it's all down to Paradox with only 35 HP left over and 3 of his opponents in the front.
God's Reign, they stick to their basics once more. They stick together and they continue firing away. Nice retake from them. As 3 people come in from A main, Revenant basically had no decent post-plant positions available. You could even see that Revenant wanted to fight early towards 3. They tried to go in with that pinch and hoping that by taking fights on their own terms, they would be able to win them. But they didn't find any of those fights towards 3 or towards Heaven at all. And by the time they came back to intercept that A main reflank, they were just simply out of position. They had to use Blackhawk smoke as temporary cover just to let them inside the site. Otherwise, even that little trade wouldn't be possible. God's Reign, that aggression really pans out in their favor. I appreciate it. I hope they can continue doing this again and again and not just in eco rounds.
Yeah. Revenant Esports this time, proactively going for that mid take. But the spike is slowly and steadily creeping and crawling its way towards street. So I guess this is just sort of like a false presence that they're showing towards the mid side. And Revenant Esports eventually will also fall back as well.
Take flight.
Right to Ace, on the other hand, still trying to scout out the short area. Make sure that it is not going to have to be facing a lot of danger in the front. And there's 3 players towards the tree area too. For God's reason, this might just be a date with destiny, because it seems like Revenant Esports are going to be walking inside this entire trap, but they've got the site control in their hands, and that's all that's going to matter for Revenant Esports.
And Revenant's initiator utility is getting them so much information. Paradox 0 points, Aces recon dot. It gets them the info that tree are already present towards the tree side. But God's Reign, after giving away information, are just hoping to fight back with their ultimates. The Hunter's Fury as well as the Lockdown both have been committed. And Jing will try to break it, but he's just going to face all these people at once. We'll peek him! But he still wins the duels. Oh, that's great. But the Spike, man, how will he recover this one? There's 2 people ready to intercept him over there. And he doesn't have a lot of time left either. He'll just have to go for the yoink. He gets 1 frag, but that's all she wrote for him.
Ching, though, I mean, considering God's Reign, they were just peeking him out one after the other. It sort of helped Ching to narrow down the pathway for clutch, but in the end, yeah, God's Reign, they were able to seal the deal and put the nail in the coffin in that round. 5-3 is the scoreline so far. God's Reign, they have got a cushion in their hands. Tix also has a from the shadow, and even Hoax has got his hands on the 0 point. But on the other hand, you take a look at Ching, and he's got his hands on the lockdown. That should be a free site take.
Get out of my way.
Well, 0 point doesn't detect anyone towards shot. And you could tell that Josh really wanted to updraft over there and get a kill. If it did detect someone, Josh would be just hovering above like a helicopter and trying to get that kill. But instead, he will now just try to sell this fake. No, actually, he's not even doing that. He's just most likely going to join his teammates towards a shot where you have Hoax along with Autumn ready to prepare this. They're ready for the receive. Malkaman already gets popped, so they are preemptively using it to stop Revenant. But Vibor is able to get the kill onto Blackhawk, and that's towards A main, so there's no more smokes available. Vibor continues killing everybody. This massive streak, it's unparalleled, and he might just be on for the ace. Paradox denies him the 5th one. Oh, and that's a very stylish shot. But unfortunately, style can only get you so far.
Those 2 quick taps from Marshall on the opponent's skull. Nicely done, but yeah. God's Reign, they're always able to put a full stop to the strategy that Revenant Esports are trying to execute from the tree side. It's not working out so far. They're always getting countered. So maybe Revenant Esports, it's time for them to get a little bit more creative and find a new pathway to try and take down God's Reign. So far on the attacking side, Revenant struggles are being shown in the first half at least. And God's Reign just proving, yeah, that they are a better bunch of players on this map. It is their comfort zone right next to Haven, but they got destroyed on Haven, so it's just the first half, I guess. We should let Revenant Esports have a little bit of breather.
Oh, Josh, that was a very brave push out from him. Now, luckily, there's nobody towards the back side. Otherwise, he would have been a dead man. But leave all of those troubles to Blackhawk as he will deal with them.
Neutralized.
Nice kill by Sai. But even though the defendant lockdown does detain a player, lockdown.
Yeah.
And thus, Josh survives to tell the tale another day.
He does. Still is 0 points. Still low command is in the hands of Paradox. And he's probably not going to use it just yet. Good shot from Autumn. Why is Revenant Esports still peeking out one after the other? But that paranoid peek from Josh was nice. Good timing onto that one. Good team play. And now Autumn's going to switch on to a Phantom. He knows that he needs to go for this clutch. No matter what, he needs to get his hands dirty. And needs to scoop one round for his teammates from the dirt. And yeah, it's next to impossible to do so. And God's Reign, once again, they're going to go for this save. Josh is trying to push all the way towards the defender spawn. Gets Autumn's position compromised. But Autumn with a shorty should be able to get this frag for free.
Revenant Esports finally being a bit more competitive over here. God's Reign have already won the half. No matter what happens after this, they will have the lead. Now, unless Revenant Esports can win the next 2, it should be quite easy for them. But I love the way that Blackhawk trades his teammates out. After he's placed his smokes, he realizes that he doesn't have much to do, so he might as well just go ahead and dish out the punishment.
Right here.
But regardless of all of that, I am quite surprised to see the way Josh dashed inside. Now, he was lucky that Tix usually, who is playing towards B back, wasn't over there. Otherwise, he would have been punished. And this time, Tix is in a position where he will never be punished. Nobody expected him on top. Oh, and he continues reigning supreme. The crossfires are immaculate. Revenant walk into a meat grinder.
Still, Paradox is knocked out. Yeah, eventually will be confirmed as well. Revenant Esports once again. Last glimmer of hope up and alive. 6-4 is the scoreline, and for Ching, he's here to keep his team's dream alive inside this round. And he's actually going for the engagement no matter what. He does not care if his team's going to lose out the round. Save is not in the books for Revenant Esports over here. He's trying to bait out a peek from side, and I don't think so that's going to happen anytime soon. Godsreen playing so nicely and disciplined.
Last round
Indeed.
is a half.
These holds from God's Reign are just something else, man. But at the same time, I'm starting to see some gaps in between the executes of Revenant Esports. The timing of the flashes and the 0 points are not really that great, you know? And they were just hoping that because the null command is active, that because everyone's suppressed over there, they probably wouldn't be able to do all that much. And yeah, they were right. God's Reign can't use the utility, but the crossfires are enough to break everything down. Revenant just assumed that God's Reign won't be able to put up a resistance without their util, but they are just plain mistaken. And because of that underestimation, Revenant now find themselves in a very tough economic spot, especially in the last round of the half.
3 suppressed.
Oh,
good suppression.
That's a lot of info.
Yeah, really good suppress. You can see Revenant Esports just backing away as soon as they get their hands on the orb. All the players just stacking up, grouping up right next to each other. Revenant, once again, they want to give this burst execute a chance towards 3. They're slowly and steadily walking in towards the catwalk, and they're probably going to walk in with the help of the owl drone too. It's clearing out the front angles, and yeah, Revenant Esports, a free stroll once again, and Vabor's just waiting on the other side because he knows he's got the nanoswarm to delay the push for as long as possible. Blackhawk as well in the clothesline. It's going to strike in, stronger than ever before with the frenzy. He gets him down, and now the trades as well are going to start to happen back and forth. But Godsreen 2, they're showing quite an immaculate difference on the site. In the end, it's Blackhawk to get a 4K, and might as well also be able to get this ace secured in his hands. Not a lot of HP, and eventually will be dealt with. Now it's all down to Ching, and Ching gets softened up with that shock dart.
Sai, he's known to be the clutch master, but with both these players so low on HP, Sai can use literally anything to kill him. He doesn't even need to see his opponent. Just the sound sense, and that's enough. Pierces his bodies through the woodworks, and God's Reign take the lead. After a devastating scoreline in Haven, they are finally coming back to life. And I hope that their vital signs continue growing stronger over the second half.
Oh, halftime. And this time, Godsreen are making sure that the map of Ascent is going to be quite a competitive one. So now it's more entertaining. It's not a complete one-sided affair. And I'm loving it so far, considering the way we are seeing even Blackhawk able to chime into the action in the final few moments. Revenant Esports, definitely, one thing is for sure, that they are struggling massively. But ladies and gentlemen, you guys know, one thing is for sure, yeah, there might be a little struggle for you guys too to win this giveaway. But all you guys need to do is scan that QR code, and you guys will be having a free entry for yourself and a chance to win that Philips One Blade. With that being said, it's time for us to push to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hit for my weeds, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want to get.
The all-new Omen 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The Omen 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple things, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this electrifying game of Ascent, where the first half has been quite a competitive one, and God's Reign, they're not going to bow down just yet. On the other hand, you've got Revenant Esports just throwing in as many punches as possible to make sure that God's Reign will be hitting the canvas soon enough. As we are going to move on forward to the second half with the scoreline of 8-4, God's Reign do have a bit of a cushion for themselves.
Yeah, it's quite a comfortable cushion. And this time, everybody from God's Reign is contributing equally. They've all come alive. But Revenant Esports, they start off with a massive wave. Josh goes unchecked, almost swings the blade into his enemy's guts. But the rest of his teammates follow up, and now it's a killing spree. They've all been tagged down to such less HP that they're all just basically hemorrhaging internally. The backstab from Ching is also here. Tix, he's basically a zombie. He's got one foot in the grave already, but maybe even with this little HP, he can get some kills. Ace is also going to be a one-tap shot. He doesn't have armor, so the Ghost can kill him. Blackhawk will definitely survive the first dink on his head. But none of that comes into effect.
One bullet, that's all it's going to take for Revenant Esports to get this round in the hand, and this was quite a needed round too. Pistol round of the second half, especially when the opponent has some sort of cushion available, you really do need that in the hand. And so far, Revenant Esports have managed to secure that one. And now it's all going to come down to the upcoming rounds. But yeah, this knife attempt was quite incredible.
Well, now that they won the pistol round, they can start mounting this comeback. Start closing up the gap. And unless Tix goes into that demon mode again with the Sheriff, Revenant Esports should have this round in the bag. Paradox has a weapon that you don't see very often, and that's exactly why. Blackhawk, though, needs to get back to safety. At least he's able to drive by one before he falls back. Oh, and that's a nice shot by Josh, too. Extends ahead of the smoke, takes a little bit of a dangerous peek, but still gets away. The spam in return boils him down to 6 HP, but that's okay because they're all distracted, and that's when Ching strikes. He takes the opportunity. No! Autumn with the shorty. That's the range where you shouldn't challenge it at. And they're trying to sneak inside from the doors as well, but they all double peek. Josh, God's Reign have no intention of planting again. They just go in for the fights once more.
Indeed they are, 2-on-1. And so far, God's Reign, as Autumn's softened up a little bit, right to Ace with only an Ares in the hand, is still on the opposite side. He thinks that the opponents are still on the A side, but he's got no clue that they've already traveled way deep onto the B site. Finally, the call is going to be made as he's going to make his way to the B side. He's also got a recon dart available. If he's going to find a good tag on the enemy players, it should help him by a mile to know exactly where they're positioned. Side Dreams and Autumn, both the players are, of course, going to be feeling the pressure because they were almost about to win this anti-eco. As God's Reign, they have also got this cushion. They want to keep on continuing having this cushion in their hands. Side Dream goes for the peek. Will also get the confirmation done on his opponent. And now has also caught a bit too much hurt onto himself. The man of the close peeks out too and right to Ace. An easy 1-on-2 clutch.
They keep the momentum, they keep the lead, but they lose a lot of weapons in the process. So this isn't going to be an easy bonus round for Revenant Esports. But still, the fact that Ace pulls off this 1v2, this is actually quite impressive. Especially when he's up against a player like Sai, who we have unofficially crowned as the clutch king of this tournament. Stealing that mantle away from him is a big deal. And Ace proving exactly why he's calling up well above his years, why he's got so much experience.
Can I get this?
pre-firing across at the right time, jumping with the right timing window, knowing when his opponents will be at their most vulnerable, and just target prioritization. Also, such amazing stuff from Ace. And while we expected Revenant Esports to not have a nice buy, take a look at the weapon that Josh has.
Operator, everything onto that man, huh? I guess the man's got to make sure that the big guns aren't going to be putting in a lot of work. And for Godsreen, of course, they've got the superior weaponry in general. And so far, Godsreen, they haven't really made up their mind what exactly they want to do, but they have got the mid control established. The visual confirmation's there.
Yeah,
And
however,
Chung,
the alarm bot towards B main has been broken, so Godsreen are aware about a potential backstab coming in. At the same time, if they want to crunch B, they will have to go through the AWP that Josh possesses, so that will be quite difficult. Plus, they have to break this door as well, which acts like a natural alarm bot of sorts. Josh doesn't take the shot. Oh, but he still gets surprised.
nicely done. Right to Ace. Once again, just wanting to strike in with the air race. Has managed to deal a lot of hurt onto Autumn, but still not enough to get him out of this entire round. And so far, Revenant Esports, it seems like they're starting to fall on top of their faces. A judge in the hands of Paradox, and he will get spammed through. Once again, the last man up in the live is going to be Ching. Too much to deal with on his shoulder. He's also got a full armor, I think. So yeah, going for the save is going to be the best option.
Indeed, it's going to be the best option, but I just feel so dejected for Revenant Esports. They expected to lose this bonus. I expected them to lose this bonus round, but that investment of the AWP now just really turns the tide.
Oh my god! Wait, hold on! Okay, I got a mini heart attack for a moment. I thought that there was a chance Ching could just get all the 4 players down right there.
I almost had a heart attack thinking that Godsreen will recover the AWP, but they didn't take it. So it's fine, I guess. But Revenant do lose a major chunk of their money and also the momentum that they had. It's back down to a 3-point lead now.
Hunter's Fury available in the hands of Sai. Let's see how he's going to utilize it this time. Once again, I mean, the rounds are just being traded back and forth, so not a lot could be said on behalf of that.
Deploying drone.
Okay, this is surprisingly quite patient from Godsreen. I guess they just don't want to walk into a trap. Knowing that Revenant have eco weapons, they probably could be going for a stack or maybe like a push out. So that's why they always take their sweet time in these anti-eco rounds. And they already had a little rough experience. You see that fragment he threw down? Yeah, that's because Josh gave them a little heart attack with the frenzy in the pistol round over there, so they don't want to have that same experience once more. But now that they're heading into its A main, it's a 3-stack from Revenant over there. Yep, it's true that they're more focused towards A short rather than A main, but I think it will still be fine. Revenant Esports can get at least a couple of kills on the inbound. At least they've heard the footsteps and know that this push is coming. And the fragment is put down just before he gets suppressed, so he will be able to stop the pushes from coming in, at least for a time. But Autumn can obviously fly over that fragment and get all the kills, so that's that.
And Godsreen once again easily establishing the site control. Ching left the last one on the naughty list, and he should be taken care of soon enough. Still though, he's trying to get as much value as possible with this sheriff, and nothing found. Godsreen another round on the board, and that's going to be 10-6 so far. It seems like Godsreen aren't going to probably win this round, win this map too. It's quite interesting. None of us expected or saw this coming.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the past we've seen Godsreen struggle on this map, but we've never seen Revenant play this map in the first place, so I for one did not know what to expect. Although given the way that the first half started, I thought Revenant will be able to keep this guide competitive.
Right here.
But for now, we can see Godsreen are pulling away with the lead, not just in terms of rounds, but also in terms of money. Even if they lose the next couple of rounds, they should be quite stable because their economy is buffed up enough. Not too much fan with the 0 points on either side. And now it comes down to the Sovas to use their own utility and figure out what's the initial setup of both these teams. Although, I must say that Revenant have changed their mid setup. Earlier, they just closed down the door and they just let the mid area be by itself. But now, they've got Josh positioned over there. And Josh failed with the AWP earlier towards B main, so he would much rather go towards mid itself. Smokes, paranoias, everything thrown towards the A side, and just like that, the site's in control. It's gonna be an awkward 5-man retake. And Jin can't even use the lockdown because Sai will easily break it with the Hunter's Fury.
Yeah. So he needs to hold on to it at least for a while. Godsreen, though, at least they have managed to position themselves in such good spots inside the post plant. Hunter's Fury utilized to get rid of that lockdown as well. Nice timing onto that. Sai's not gonna let that lockdown at all bother his teammates. Godsreen, on the other hand, they're gonna start to make sure that they're breaking down Revenant Esports once again. Josh in the clotheslines with the AWP, a good shot to get rid of the man in the close quarters. Gets 2 so far. Wants to get the third one down as well, but he's just dashing around. And what is going on over here? Revenant Esports. Oh, I don't even know what I'm seeing at this point.
Just a man on a desperate mission to keep himself alive. With shotguns, with snipers, and everything galore. He even pulls out the knife at the first moment when he realizes he can't do anything else. Hey, that was quite comical in a match that was super serious, you know? We needed something to alleviate the pressure. Just take a little something off the edge.
Yes, it's starting to be a little trend where teams are like trading each other's map picks. Right? I think so. It's happened like 3 times in a row now in the past. Teams are just trading each other's map picks over here, and so far it seems like that's going to be the case here too. Revenant Esports, they're probably about to lose on their own map pick. 11-6. Let's see though, this tactical timeout should be able to do at least something. So far, Godsreen, they've got a strong wind to their sails. For Revenant Esports to stop that wind, it will be a daunting task, but not impossible.
A daunting task indeed. They gotta win so many rounds in a row now. And that too, when God's Reign have quite a lot of economic momentum in their favor, so they not only just need to win these rounds, but they will need to keep their members alive as well. And given the money that they have now, God's Reign will inevitably reach map point.
Here.
And then it's a fight for overtime. I don't really like the odds of that. Okay then. A deep recon to detect anyone towards high mid, and then Josh will follow up on the back of it. So Revenant try to make these eco rounds work by making these shenanigan plays.
I don't even know what that was, but yeah, Josh, I guess. Yeah, you do you, King. Whatever suits you, man. Try to be really aggressive without having a lot of info either. So yeah, Godsreen, considering sort of presence was known outside A main, they're gonna try to take things once again safe.
There.
Godsreen.
Define safe though.
Look at this. This is just slow and safe.
Oh yeah. It's slow, but I wouldn't exactly call this safe yet, you know. Paranoia towards Lee. Is he trying to actually fake this? Nope. He actually just TPs elsewhere and instantly cancels. So it will be up to Ching to somehow hold on to this, but he can't activate his nanoswarms, he can't use that microwave setup, and he just gets overwhelmed.
Oh, wow. Hold on, I thought maybe Blackhawk would be able to swing back into action, but no. He only managed to get one, and instantly he got deactivated. Godsreen. They're just putting every single player in the coffin, and the last one goes down as well. Revenant Esports don't know what's going on, but they're not able to taste that victory over Godsreen inside the map of a set. They're struggling massively, and this is another one-sided map, but this time in the favor of Godsreen.
Yeah, man, third map seems inevitable right now. You might as well just start talking about split.
It's interesting. I honestly had like this little bit of thing back in my head. I thought that, okay, we're probably going to be seeing all the maps. But yeah, well, I guess it's inevitable now. 6-12. They will need to win 6 rounds back-to-back. Considering how the game's been looking like, it seems next to impossible and too much to expect. But Autumn still able to shut down Right to Ace. Right to Ace had plenty of opportunities to shut him down, but just not able to find those sweet connections.
Oh, okay then. It seems like Autumn's in a bit of trouble. And no, he's not. He digs himself out of that situation. And he's capable of doing more, but that's okay. Because while he's creating a distraction over there towards Market, his teammates are about to attack the Ace side and Paradox is about to be detained. He's most likely gonna get sliced and diced and publicly humiliated. Josh tries to exact revenge, tries to play the timing, but he just simply can't get more than one. And it's up to Ching now. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but how much can he pull off over here? I'm assuming that God's Reign are never gonna plant. They've shown this tendency before. They just want to take the fights. And it's worked out for them in the past. It works out for them again. Map number 3. We are coming over there.
Exactly. God's Reign take us to match point. And also the series point, ladies and gentlemen. Nicely done by God's Reign. Securing the map of Ascent, even though they lost on their own strong map, which was Haven. They did not let that loss affect them at all. And they're still having smiles on their faces. You love to see it. Revenant Esports, on the other hand, they definitely look devastated. They're having some good talks around themselves too. What exactly went wrong in that previous map? But as you said, Crips, we haven't seen this team a lot. So it just seemed like, in general, the experience compared to God's Reign on this map inside VCLSA was definitely lacking. And maybe that's why God's Reign just pretty much came through victorious.
Yep. But we will be taking a look at this map in more detail. Of course, we'll be back with the third map as well on the other side of this break. So don't go anywhere.
Here for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Feeling under pressure.
Preemptive rotationary spot, you know, he's always able to make the right gambles. I hope that maybe God's Reign can pull something off like that today, because they also are the kind of team that will be comfortable rotating without too much information. They make those preemptive moves quite often. But oh my god, look at this!
Wait, what?
We have a chamber pick!
Okay. I mean, I'm down for surprises, but yeah, let's see how this chamber's gonna be played out on this map. It's been such a long time since I've seen chamber on split. So maybe God's Reign, they've got something anonymous cooking up in the back. The mysterious aura seems like it's starting to unfold soon enough. And Revenant Esports, as always, they're going to stick to their comfort picks. No changes over here.
Yeah, the picks for Revenant Esports are more or less comfort ones. We've been seeing a lot of Cypher these days on split, especially after the tripwires have been buffed. You can put them in some really cheeky spots. But the chamber, yeah, definitely, I didn't expect that. I mean, chamber is going to get a little bit of a buff in patch 6.11.
Finally.
But before all of that happens, people are already picking up the chamber. So, yeah, I'm quite concerned about this.
Getting used to it, man. Getting back in the groove of playing with chamber. But no, yeah, I mean, I personally was the type of guy to believe that, yeah, okay, even if the chamber didn't receive nerf, its main ability was to find the first pick and give his team advantage with the kit that he has, the Headhunter especially. When your team's struggling when it comes to the economical side of the game, the Headhunter is something that you can rely on massively. Then later on they increased the credits of that thing as well, so it got a little too risky to invest into it, but still, it did the job. But now that it's going to receive buffs, I really want to know what sort of buffs it is going to be. But so far, it's going to be Revenant Esports taking the heat against the players of Godsreen right off the bat. They've got the mid control established, and now they've also managed to get the B site in their hands so easily.
Yeah, the site was basically never under any sort of resistance. All of God's range is focused on A and mid instead, and now they're paying the price for it. It's going to be a very awkward 5-man retake. Even if God's Reign try to attempt some backstabs, they will be caught by Ching. But Paradox is already starting things off on the right foot. And Race, he catches one as he tries to escape towards B main. The paint shells won't do anything. Paradox does get caught by himself, but Josh is the one who's in trouble right now. The smoke will definitely help him out. Oh my god. He walks past Sai for a moment, but that's not a problem. Right to Ace will deal with them all by himself. Great start by Revenant Esports. They identify the weakness, they pounce.
Yeah, classic stuff. I mean, got the mid control set up, took the Haven control as well, and then just straight up dashed on the site. Not exactly dashed, but yeah, saturated on the site was Paradox. Revenant Esports, they made that control look so easy. On the other hand, Godsreen, they have no other choice than to let the map control be taken away just like that. But now, finally, we might just see some chamber action over here as he's situated on the A site. And he's also got his crosshair primed up, and a good one tap to start things off. Josh kicked out of the server, at least inside this round. But Revenant Esports still have the rest of the 4 players up and alive with the superior weaponry as they've got the Heaven control set up. Right to Ace is going to get the revenge done for his teammate. And Hoax might just have the surprise element from the ropes area. Good kill from Side Dreams, and their Godsreen are able to return back 2 of their own.
Okay, it's just blow for blow at this point.
I have retrieved the spike.
Definitely can recover the spike, and while this round has been slightly more difficult than Revenant would have imagined, God's Reign are playing it really well. Even if it boils down to a 1v1, I think it's perfect. And Ching, he's got all the time in the world to make all the rotations he wants, but both these players are just going to test each other's patience by waiting it out. Who will budge first? Who will have a case of the nerves? And now Tix gets all the information he requires. It's all going to come down to timing. Will he check the other side? No, he doesn't! Thrifty pulled off by God's Reign, all by virtue of being present where the fights are happening, training each other out really well.
We're seeing a lot of these anti-eco rounds being won by teams, and yeah, that just proves the amount of improvement these teams are able to showcase inside the game. Able to click on the heads properly enough too. But yeah, if it's a Tix in one-on-one scenario with a Sheriff in the hand, the chances are, or the odds are highly stacked with that player.
Oh, there you go. Only 0 point is going to detect quite a lot of people, but will God's Reign assume that this is the final hit? I guess it isn't. The spike actually isn't anywhere close. The Remnant are going to take their sweet time. I think Sai might just have spotted the spike over there, but he's now getting a challenge by Ching. And in case Sai gets in trouble, they also got all the other players present over there. So both the initiators just picking up fights towards mid, and they do it with the bases of their guns, not having to use any of their flashes for these interactions so far.
Oh, good flashes, but Autumn is going to peek out using that flash to his advantage. He's got one more opponent in the back lines, but a little too late. Blackhawk to take him down. At least he's managed to deal with that disease for now, and the spam's going to get to him.
Oh, that's a good way to get the lead. They lose only one gun in the process, and that too wasn't a very expensive one. They recovered the Vandal that was present on Autumn. So all is well that ends well. And looks like God's Reign really want to put an end to this quickly enough. They've got the AWP in the hands of Autumn once again. And he's been a stellar force towards mid as well as mid-vent. Just oscillating in between those two areas and keeping them under lock and key. Revenant, on the other hand, given their initial setup, I'm assuming it's going to be a B burst out, but they've done so many contact plays in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if they just go for the dry peaks like that.
Oh. Revenant Esports, look at Ching. Looking to take the first contact. And he wants to be the first one to nail someone down. To get that dome connected, and yes, he will. Ching able to get the first find. Nicely done onto the B site. Sai gets spotted as well with the boom bot. Position's compromised, but still Sai is too adamant. He's not going to let that position go away. But that works sort of as a distraction for Roborta Strike. Nicely done. Godsry in these crossfires sort of working out in their favor, but then right to Ace bounces back with a fire of his own. A good reply from his side. B side seems like it's going to be taken over easily enough by Revenant.
Player standing.
And they have indeed taken over it easily. There's not much that Autumn can do, especially now that his position's been given away by the neural depth. He's just going to save that op. And Revenant deal with it piece by piece. Ace missed his aftershock, but he's still able to get the kill towards that B tower stairs guy. And like we expected, Revenant just go for the contact plays towards B main. They didn't throw any utility, nothing at all whatsoever. They just double peek and try to kill anyone who's holding towards the back of B site.
Teleport's ready.
Which in this case was quite successful. And after they started crunching the pressure on B tower, it was all down to Hoax, right? So Hoax, given the situation he was in, did the best possible thing. All he did was just try to play around the cybercade that Ching has placed, put his own opponent's utility against them. And it got him a free kill, but eventually he was overwhelmed by the superior numbers that Revenant had over there. So that just showcased some presence of mind. Using your own opponent's utility against them, that's nice. And I hope that he can continue doing so again and again. We're just 4 rounds in and already the brain games have begun. Both the teams just trying to one-up each other in terms of economy, and all these rounds also have boiled down to quite a lot of these close situations. But you haven't seen the brain games that we are used to seeing from Revenant yet. Usually they're quite profound, quite elaborate. So far they're keeping it nice and simple. Could this be another case of conditioning like we saw in the map of Haven?
Maybe. So far, though, Revenant Esports, once again, I mean, they've got the mid-control established. But this time, at least, Blackhawk's taking care of the controller side of the game. But the shotgun's going to deal with Hawks. Nicely done. Paradox gets his hands on the Vandal, able to return back another one. This man is unstoppable with the amount of firepower showing. Already, he's managed to kick things up with a 3K. A good aftershock to force out Sai. Even he gets dealt with. Everything is so quick, but it still seems so calculated.
Exactly, and this time the utility from Revenant Esports is quite suppressive, quite dangerous too. Not only do you have to deal with the threat of Paradox moving at you with a judge in hand, but you also have to deal with the flashes from Josh, the stunts from right to Ace. This time he didn't even have to use his fault line, he just used the aftershock to make sure nobody can trade out. And that's all you need. These are the kind of executes we expected from Revenant in Ascent. They were somewhat missing, somewhat lackluster, but now that they've covered all their bases, they look refreshed, rejuvenated, and a lot more lethal.
Oh, look at Josh. This guy is a sneaky person.
Uh-oh.
Jump spot, Autumn. Oh, not too crisp with the operator this time. And will be dealt with. The Revenant Esports, another round of the board. Once again, it seems like the story is going to repeat itself. They're starting to run away with a little bit of momentum now finally back in their hands. They've managed to win 2 rounds back-to-back, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, 2 rounds back-to-back. Revenant Esports really starting to gain that economic momentum now. Close to 3,000 to 4,000 credits on almost every one of them. But they need to keep this going, you know. This isn't that much of an economic buffer. So the best that they can do is just afford to lose 1 round at max. And yeah, God's Reign don't have the money they need, but they have the 2 with the force on Autumn, and they have 1 Phantom on Tix. So these 2 hero weapons can change the tide of this round. Is he actually going to go for a peek through the smoke? I would be really surprised if he does that. He avoids the boom bot, and he tries to make that play once again. Sai and his cheeky pushes, doing whatever he can to give his team the edge, but this time won't find any.
Oh, even if he doesn't find any Autumns there, though, posted up in mid with the op this time, or with the Tour de Force, if you'd like to call that. But yeah, once again, a lot of flashes to deal with. Autumn left to just force back. He's got no other option to do.
Timing.
Tix peeks out.
Whoa.
The good timing from the ropes area. No one decided to clear that vents. And that's where Tix just found a massive advantage, even though Godfrey and Dave were on a huge disadvantage when it comes to the firepower and the guns. It's not going to matter if Tix is going to pull plays like that.
Tix easily just getting the better of them in terms of timing. We saw this happen in Ascent as well. You remember that one play where he just let two of them pass and then he peeks out of the smokes to get a double kill? This is the exact same thing. You know, the smoke's about to fade towards Vent. He knows that most of Revenant Esports will just leave that area, assume it to be clear because they already dumped a lot of util and smokes in there. And while most of them were looking towards B tower, he just takes the timing play and makes it work. That presence of mind that Tix has, it's unparalleled.
Once again, I mean, the main call for Godsreen was, okay, it's understandable that Revenant Esports are highly going for that mid control. So we just need to counter that. And Tix found a good cure to that. And already he's also starting off with a nice pick. So gives a man advantage in the favor for his team. And that's a big criminal out of the league.
Flashbang.
This will trigger the fight. And he gets one. That's all they needed. Folks with the follow-up. Great stuff from God's Reign. They are playing so well on the back of each other. The underhand flash, impossible to dodge. And even if they somehow get into a safer spot, Hawks would have followed up with the paint shells too. And here comes the triple. Everybody on God's Reign stepping up when the moment is upon them.
And it's a flawless round too. And now look at this. They've got Showstopper available and also a Null Command. Two of these abilities that can give a massive space control.
One enemy remaining.
The paint shell would have landed square on their faces. Good mid control from God's Reign so far. They've made all those utility plays work. And that's the best part, you know, because they're keeping it dynamic too. No two players are playing over there at the same time. In the first few rounds, we saw Sai playing over there along with Hoax, and then every now and then Autumn takes his place near the vent area. This time we had the Razes over there too, so they keep changing the agents that are stationed on mid. And because of this, Revenant have so much difficulty trying to figure out who's gonna peak first, what's gonna trigger the fight. A lot of these pro teams just use team triggers. What's a trigger? Because I have some time, I will explain. So, when you see a flash come through, that's when you know that someone's about to peek you. When you see a nade being tossed, that's when you probably understand that, hey, he's gonna peek 3 seconds later. Or something along those lines, right? Every player has a tendency, a little something that gives away the play. Those triggers are just so difficult to identify from God's Reign right now. Because they keep changing them all the time, Revenant don't know where the peek will come through. So, the best that they can do is just mark both the angles and hope that the trades come. Oh, but look at this. What a sudden pickup of pace. Paradox is already snuck inside, but he's stunned and he's being naded. The best that he can do is use the Showstopper, but no! He gets suppressed, the Showstopper's offline, and Hawks brings one out of his own.
A good return. And now, out of nowhere, Revenant, that entire push they try to make is just deactivated. A 2-on-5, man. Yeah, next to impossible to get anything done. For Revenant, they're just going to try to get some extra frags. Because they know it's pretty much done, so you might as well just try to get these aim duels set up for yourself. Blackhawk's going to just return back. He does not want anything to do towards the B-man area. While Ching is going to be left to set up for a play. All by himself outside B-main. On the other hand, there's two players posted up from God's Reign. Inside the B site, next to impossible to breach in. Not a lot of time left over too. Only 40 seconds to do anything possible. And yeah, look at God's Reign. You can see the pressure building up too. Revenant Esports. Yeah, that's it.
Man, I feel so terrible for Revenant Esports. I mean, it was an eco round, so I didn't expect them to win. But then they committed the showstopper, and I thought, oh, they're that desperate, huh? They pull off the rocket? Yeah, maybe they'll find something. And then Paradox had to pull it down because of the null command. What's worse is that Hoax uses his own showstopper and obliterates his opponents. The only silver lining over here is now everyone on God's Reign, almost everyone, is super far away from their ultimates.
Good cages. Placed over. And you can see even Revenant. Now, once again, they're just storming through mid. Also getting the Vince control in their hands. Probably going to try to breach in towards the A heaven area using the ropes. Managing to find so much control already. And then you've also got another counter push coming in from Autumn on the other side of the map. Nicely done. Right to Ace, able to deal with ticks. And instantly falling back too. Josh uses his Seekers to get some confirmed information. He knows there's someone present out in the B heaven area. Using their Trailblazer to know exactly where the player is. The position's compromised. Hoax left nothing to do with them to back off, and that's what he's going to try to do. Revenant Esports, once again, the numbers are neutralized as it's a 4-on-4 scenario, and they are going to start to fall down as God's Reign. They start to rack up these kills. 6-3 being the scoreline. And so far, it seems like Revenant Esports, they're standing no chance against the God's Reign that we're seeing on the screen. I don't exactly know what happened to God's Reign on their own map, picked on the map of Haven. Something weird happened as they lost that out, but now the God's Reign that we're seeing, oh man, there's just proven Revenant, like, Revenant's not even a match for them.
That's
Babor's
true.
Babor's got a Cosmic Divide, so let's see how he's going to use that. Oh my god.
Yeah, that is just unfortunate. I don't know what was that hesitation. But Josh is not going to live to see another day. Well, at least they still have all the flashes that Right to Ace possesses in his bionic arms. But they're losing their members like flies. The dry peaks are just so weird to look at. I really thought Blackhawk would have probably used the paranoia, or maybe the flashes from Ace would have come through, but nothing is happening.
Spike down B.
Hey. If Paradox had a spike, he probably could have planted, but look at that movement! My goodness, he's got a spring in his step now, hasn't he?
Indeed he does. I mean, I don't even know what's going on right now. What happened on the first map? This just makes me wonder, God's Reign. I mean, you guys are showing some impeccable performance. Even the firepower, you guys are able to click heads better. You guys are able to stop whatever Revenant Esports is throwing onto your way. And on the other hand, Revenant Esports just fumbled. Don't know how to reply, don't know what exactly to do, get the map control in the hand. They're actually able to establish the map control, but when it comes to taking down the site in their hands, they manage to also step inside the site, but they're not able to withstand that control at all.
Absolutely not. And Revenant just crumbling under all this pressure. Autumn. He's got 3 weapons at his disposal, the Orb, the Headhunter, as well as the Shorty, so he's prepared for battles at any range. And Josh, once again, gets caught with his pants down. Twice in a row, he's been able to... I mean, he hasn't been able to do anything. Not even fire a single bullet, not even use any utility. And yeah, he's just having an unlucky game. Autumn, once again, could have struck gold, but Blackhawk strikes his head off. That's some pressure alleviated from the B side, but they're not actually going towards B now. With the neural theft that Ching has deployed, they will figure out that the B side is actually weaker and continue going there rather than jumping into its vent and heading A tower.
Vabor getting approached by 3 players, and then also one from the main. B-side control finally taken away. Revenant able to find that little wiggle room for themselves inside these rounds, and able to squeeze inside the B-side so successfully, and Blackhawk doesn't even need vision to get rid of his opponent. Nicely done. Revenant Esports finally able to do something. That should be a massive sigh of relief for them, but still, is that enough to stop the momentum of God's Reign? And that's where the question lies, because if Revenant's able to make this half 7-5, then they won't really have a lot of pressure on the pistol round in the upcoming second half.
Finally, they pick up the pace, they pick up the pieces as well. And they do it all without using too many of their major ultimates. Rolling Thunder still available, so right to waste can definitely shake things up. This time the mid-control that Revenant deployed on the back of that utility, it's perfect. Sometimes all this utility just goes missing, and I don't know why that happens. But this time Blackhawk is going for a walk, instantly dispatched away from the round, and as he's picked off towards B, his teammates are like, yeah, we don't really need you anymore over there. As long as we have mid-vent for ourselves, we can still take control of A, but they will have to fight their way through. Trailblazer towards the other side as well, just to scout out if Autumn has repositioned or not. But they're just using this utility to sell the fake. They use the Trailblazer too, even the Cyber Cage. Yeah. And at least the Opera is present on the wrong location, so there's some hope that Revenant can still make it.
Yeah, but still, Autumn is a name to be feared, and now Paradox, a bird in the sky, he needs to deal with this showstopper. Unfortunately, not capable enough. Gets blown away as Hoax will once again give a massive advantage to his team. Operator back into action, and Sai able to strike him down. And out of nowhere, Revenant Esports, they crumbled down once again into pieces in front of God's Reign. Now they're going to have a lot of pressure, as this is going to be the pistol round of the second half for Revenant Esports. If they want to keep their journey continuing inside the entire VCLSA, they will need to win this pistol round and just pretty much broaden up the way or the chances of them winning this map a split.
Exactly, and they will also need to keep a check on their economy snowball, you know, because God's Reign just snowballed out of control this time. They were able to afford that double op setup going into the last round, and there was spare guns lying on the ground for Sai to pick up, so that just tells you how dominant God's Reign were in this first half. Can Revenant mount this comeback, or will that first map win be all for nothing? We'll find out on the other side of this break.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Bro, fridge meat के लिए, heat के लिए नहीं. Bro, this graphics card is making my frames drop. Come with me if you want a game.
The all-new Omen 16 with advanced Tempest cooling technology, now with 5 heat pipes and 4 thermal outlets. The Omen 16 with 12th Gen Intel Core i7 processor to make you forget your frame drops.
Now that's cool.
Game on with Tempest cooling.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the second half of the Decider map split, where we thought Revenant Esports might just be able to run away with a victory, but so far, that doesn't seem like the storyline at all, because God's Reign, somehow they've managed to get things under control, and they've also managed to give a massive reality check to Revenant Esports.
Yeah, and that reality check dictates that Revenant need to change up their approach stat. Some of these rounds from them were really promising. The way they used the utility was overwhelmingly just good. But some of these rounds, it was just lacking altogether. So Revenant Esports can't afford to have this oscillating personality. They need that consistency. And so far, the consistency comes in form of not peeking by yourself. A fight might just occur towards A ramp, and it will be on the back of Josh's contact and Ace swinging to help him out. presence detected. Ace is going to come back, hoping to set his team up for a fight, but I'm surprised that Revenant Esports aren't pushing out a B yet, and they've also given up on mid, so it seems like they have the complete idea of what God's Reign is up to, and now they strike. The crunch comes through, the fault line's perfect, and everybody's stunned up. The flurry of frags is upon us, and Revenant Esports get all of those kills.
Good round to be secured from Revenant Esports. Desperately needed one too. And now, as I said, the opportunities, the paths have been opened up once again. But you can never take these anti-eco rounds lightly at all. So far, a lot of the times teams are able to win these rounds. So yeah, you gotta be a little safe and sound in these rounds too. You never know when the sheriffs are gonna be clicking the heads, and you would just be left wondering what exactly hit you in the face.
Cover going out.
Oh, okay.
There.
Tiny gap.
Bad
Takes
smoke.
his leg, face me, bro.
Revenant. So far, Blackhawks utilized 2 smokes in that direction. Autumn's on the top of that box. He's looking for that little skull, little glimmer. That could be just more than enough. But I highly doubt if he's going to be able to find that. Good jump spot from Blackhawk. Avoids the entire calamity before it's going to be happening. Right to Ace on top of the heaven. He's going to try to make sure that he's going to be the sharpshooter, shooting anyone down, making sure they're not going to be able to funnel onto the site. Good pin shields too. That's going to deny the entry even more. A lot of time being bought in God's Reign. This entire take has failed.
Spike dropped in no man's land. There's no way to recover this one. Well, there you go. At least Revenant start things off on the right note. They keep all their weapons alive as well, which means it will be quite a promising bonus round. And given the way Ace is using his fault line, at least given the way he used it in the pistol round, it shows that the sense of timing that Revenant have is quite nice, which will basically make it difficult for God's Reign to get inside. They have the possibility of getting crunched. So how do God's Reign deal with this? They will probably have to rely on a lot of these mind games and fakes. They are the kind of team that is known to take their sweet time going for a lot of map control across, but this time they just started things off with a bang. Autumn instantly decapitates Paradox, clips his wings. Oh no, the timing once again.
Yeah, just not working in his favor. And already starting off with a massive disadvantage. Ching whiffed all the shots. Oh, Ching is going to be kicking himself after that one. And now we're left in a 1-on-5 scenario. Revenant Esports, they cannot afford to lose rounds like these. Even with one single round being taken away by the opponent can hit you massively in the upcoming rounds or in the upcoming time. So yeah, every single mistake will be counted. Every single round will be counted.
Well, at least God's Reign put up one round on the board. This should help start kick off the arms race. We've seen these teams on 9-6 before, and we know where it goes from there. It takes just one round to break your economy and completely reset your momentum, and Revenant can't afford to have that meltdown right now. Cypher setup hasn't really changed from Ching all throughout, but then again, it didn't need to change. God's Reign haven't pressured it enough to force them to make a move. But Revenant are indeed pressuring B main often. Last time it was Paradox trying to satchel with the Judge. This time it's a dark cover placed towards the mouth of B main. So in some way, shape, form or the other, Revenant really want to keep God's Reign away from the B main area. But they're comfortable letting them come towards mid to some extent.
Makes sense. Look at the amount of utilities they've used up. The Breaches kit too. Look at that. Right to Ace. I mean, he's only got one flash and a stun available. Blackhawk, once again, just going for that jump spot. Not able to get anything done. As God's Reign still, they're looking to make it in on the heaven side, as they have managed to find a couple of openings too. Paradox was able to return back to favor, but that's not going to be enough. The Revenant Esports, they've got an entire storm ahead of them, approaching them, and Ching is all by himself in the back lines of the site. And Josh, once again, the last man left surviving. A good kill to start things off for this clutch. It's a 2-on-1 scenario. Autumn soften up way too low. One single bullet should seal the deal onto that man, but both of them now approach Josh at the same time. Good flash. Dinks found Josh way too low. 1-on-2 seems next to impossible.
Oh, and he just happens to face Vibor first, the guy who was healthier. Both players get dinked one by one, and God's Ring keep two of their guns alive. And just like that, Revenant Esports, they falter against the storm. Like a house of cards in a hurricane, they get blown away. God's Reign are keeping things really nice and clean over here. The way they take mid, the way they systematically push the players of Revenant Esports back. The utility that they use is also very methodical, very clean. And surprisingly, Revenant Esports weren't able to figure out the puzzle in time. The rotations were inbound, but they just simply failed to make an impact. Will that be the case all throughout? Revenant Esports have an economic meltdown at the worst time possible. This will allow God's Reign to get to 11.
If Revenant Esports get kicked out right here today inside from the tournament, oh man, I can already imagine what it's going to look like. So for Revenant Esports, this entire matchup matters a lot because their entry inside the split too was quite a banger one.
Quite spicy too.
Exit. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. A banger one. They threw a lot of punches, a lot of jabs on a lot of teams, and if they're just gonna go down like this, then the jabs and the punches will be returned back at you. It will be an absolute annihilation, not just in the game, also on the social media. So let's see how Revenant Esports is gonna be able to stand tall against God's Reign or not. But so far, once again, God's Reign, they're just melting down Revenant Esports.
No other way to deal with their opponents. Melt them in a vat of acid. Throw them into the blades, chop them up, and Paradox now looking to make something happen with the bucket, but he's just not finding an opportunity. Blackhawk has some really nice taps though, so he's been able to find quite a lot of kills, but the rest of his teammates unfortunately just cannot do anything. And even with the gun in his hands, with his position known like that, Hoax can easily get rid of him. The smoke doesn't really help his cause, and Hoax is prepared for this one. God's Reign keep things clean. Revenant Esports have lost so many rounds in a row, they're basically just surviving on max loss bonus at this point.
This is just way too easy for God's Reign. That's all I can say. 11-6. Completely one-sided affair. Finally a tactical timeout. They need this desperately. But keep this thing in mind. They'll need to win back-to-back 5 rounds to even tie the scoreline. 5 rounds back-to-back. That sounds next to impossible considering how the game's going so far.
I know, right? On paper, 5 isn't a lot of... 5 isn't a lot. I mean, just like that. But considering that Revenant Esports not only need that many rounds, but also need the money to keep themselves afloat for all these rounds, it is looking like a very, very daunting task. The wind is blowing against them, and these strong headwinds can't help them sail ahead. For God's Reign, though, their setup hasn't really required too many changes. It hasn't really been contested all that much. Godspeed has had that same neutral expression since Haven. So that just tells you how calm and composed he is. Doesn't do anything hastily. Doesn't do anything in a very desperate manner. Even when the time calls for it.
You want to play? Let's play.
Go, Tour de Force pulled out. Paradox. Oh, I just feel bad for Revenant at this point. Paradox, I mean, right off the bat, this man is just seeing the gates. He's just taking the exit. And Revenant Esports already will be starting things off on a huge man deficit. Tour de Force as well, looking to click into action, looking to swing into action.
Blinded.
And God's Reign, so far, things are working perfectly fine as they've planned.
They are indeed working perfectly. And with the opening pick, they don't even need to make a move. The ball's in the court of Revenant Esports now. It's up to them to figure out where the final hit's coming.
On my way.
And they're leaving the A side in the trusty arms of Ching. Or if he gets even a single kill, he can use the neural theft and figure out where the rest of the players are. But God's Reign aren't keen on using mid. Instead, they're grouping up outside of B. But the Trailblazer spots out quite a lot. And now all the cards are on the table. All the information's available to them. So now they just have to deal with the showstopper. Somehow dodge the opponents. Blackhawk teleports in at the right spot and doesn't get killed. That's incredible. Somehow Sai and Autumn are almost making things work, but it's all down to Autumn now. The Seekers gave away his position. The flash keeps him at bay. Very little time left for him to recover the spike and plant it as well. I don't think he can do both. He's just going to have to kill his opponents to make this round work. But Revenant just need to hide. They need to bide their time and keep themselves alive.
8 bullets in the magazine. Autumn needs to hurry up. He's trying his best to be quick on the feet, but Blackhawk deals with the problem. Finally, Revenant able to find at least one round where they can at least have a huge sigh of relief for themselves. 11-7 being the scoreline, it's definitely doable. But Revenant Esports, they will need to make sure, or they will at least need to know the fact that the room for error is now next to none.
Next to none. But the only silver lining over here is that Revenant Esports don't have to worry about economy as well, right? I mean, if they lose this round, they can still afford to purchase some cheaper weapons like Bulldogs and Spectres. Folks, this time though, look at the amount of aggression. Man, the paint shells hold him back for just a little bit. But Paradox is here with the judge, and this can be quite dangerous. If anyone gets stunned, it's basically a death sentence.
Pin shield's gonna force him to fall back. And SI too. The Trailblazer was used, some sort of information's gathered.
But both the sides are only exchanging rays and sky utility, nothing else so far. So it's not enough to call a fake.
You try to use the from the shadows, and nothing was found. It was instantly cancelled out. So Blackhawk is still going to be staying at that exact site. Look at the amount of patience God's Reign is showing. This is classic God's Reign.
Yeah, this is indeed classic God's Reign. They almost always like waiting it out for the very last moment to start their executes. But in the past, they've had a lot of trouble trying to execute in the last 30 seconds. I hope that same trouble doesn't bite them now. So far, Revenant haven't been able to push out of the smokes and really just get free kills. And even when one got detained in the trap fire, they didn't get a free kill through the X-ray. So God's Reign keep all 5 players alive. This is going to be a very claustrophobic retake.
Oh no, the operator once again springs back into action. As Revenant Esports, they're going to be subtracted down to a 4-player squad. And once again, the bodies are going to keep on hitting the floor. Nothing can be done. Ching, the last hope alive, and he gets taken out of the game as well. Out of the server. God's Reign, they're just kicking the players of Revenant out slowly and steadily. It's like suffocating your opponent to their death and taking and enjoying it doing so.
Yeah, Revenant really were lacking the ability to retake, especially with big AoE ultimates not available. They just had to somehow stop God's Reign from getting into the site. But because God's Reign take their sweet time, Revenant can't make any preemptive moves. They have no choice but to respect the plant and go for the retake. And in that situation, it's all that God's Reign can do. Just hold on to their horses and establish the crossfires. And their crossfires were much more deadlier than the ones the Revenant had put up. 12th round.
Blinded.
Almost on the verge of victory are God's Reign as their crown remains intact on their heads, and Sai says it will be there. You can't take it away from us. Trailblazer doesn't detect anyone else, but immediately the amount of pressure that it creates forces a response from Revenant Esports, and the response is to abandon mid and reinforce the sites. Only Ace is available over there, and he's the only person who can make an impact with that Rolling Thunder. But Sai continues to create pressure on A. Finally, Josh shuts him down, but how much can he possibly accomplish now? He doesn't know where the rest of God's Reign are. The only silver lining over here is that Ace is appropriately positioned.
Sai's done his job. And the rest of the players from the Gods Arena are now going to start to funnel in to the B site. Ace is quite low too. He cannot do anything. And now Josh left in a 1-on-4 situation. Only a miracle can save Revenant this round and also keep them breathing inside the tournament. And that's not going to come true at all. Gods Arena, they pull this series back in their hands from the deadlock, from the death grip. And they give Revenant a reality check. They make sure Revenant are going to be kicked out of this tournament from this elimination bracket, from this lower brackets, and Gods Arena, they continue their journey inside the VCL South Asia from the lower brackets. Nicely done. And you can take a look at the Gods Arena viewing party too. They've got some choice words to say.
Choicest of words for the juiciest of players. God's Reign make that comeback. They were somewhat lackluster in map number 1, and that definitely made us scared about their future in this tournament. But the remaining 2 maps were almost like cakewalk for them. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, God's Reign win this match. They eliminate Revenant Esports from the tournament. They made a very spicy entry, but their exit is also just as graceful. Of course, it's going to be a disappointing day for Revenant Esports fans, but as the crown that exists in God's Reign logo continues to reign onwards, there is still a chance that they can take the throne.
Still a chance, but there's also a lot of risk available with that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to push to a short interview. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
How did you guys manage that?
Of course, बहुत सारे up and downs हम देखी जा रहे हैं. Yesterday, after when we lost against ASTER, which was not expected at all, everyone's mental was very bad, to be honest, I won't lie. But of course, this win is gonna boost our mentals, and hopefully we'll play better in our upcoming matches.
Listen, let's just go back to what happened जब हमने शुरुआत की थी दिन की. तो यहाँ बैठा हुआ था, and there was Tix. Tix was the IGL for throughout, and then he told us that, you know what, इस बार साई बनने वाला है IGL. You didn't step up. Haven में हमने देखा कि it wasn't a great performance. ना team chemistry दिखी, ना enthusiasm दिखा, ना वो energy दिखी. What happened there?
Like I said, changes बहुत करे हमने. अभी split 2 के अंदर अभी basically after the group stages मैं calling करना start हो चुका हूँ. And yeah, even in the first map Haven, everyone was very off. Like you can say, like I told you, like our mentality was not right. It's not even about mentality, our confidence was not there, I would say. So उसकी वजह से you could see that the chemistry and our strats, nothing was working out for us. But after that, obviously we have to reset. In the end, we are professionals. So we resetted. Our coach gave us a very nice pep talk, and we spoke to each other, and here are the results.
कमाल कर दिया. Okay, now you played ASTER yesterday. Today you played Revenant. What did ASTER do that Revenant wasn't able to execute?
Well, to be honest, ASTER was doing very good utility. The way they were utilizing their utility and their couple of mini players were really good. So I think they were more prepared than us yesterday. Looking at RNT, we all know they're very good aimers, they're very good players. But as a team, we saw there are a lot of gaps which they leave in the game. And that's what I was focusing on to exploit it.
Alright, so True Rippers and साथ में Reckoning का मुकाबला, and we know low brackets जो हैं, they are very unforgiving. ये टीम जो है वो बाहर हो चुकी है. Shed some light के future के plans जो कैसे लग रहे हैं?
सब यहाँ पे जीतने ट्रॉफी के लिए आए हैं. वो इतनी सुंदर सी जो ट्रॉफी है और उसके साथ जो स्लॉट मिलेगा अपने देश को रिप्रेजेंट करने का, उसी के लिए खेल रहे हैं. इसलिए आज मेरे को भी इतना टाइम हो गया, 10 साल से खेलता हुआ आ रहा हूँ. सो आखिर में फाइनल गोल तो सबका यही है कि टू रिप्रेजेंट इंडिया एंड डू बेटर इन अब्रॉड.
So obviously you are a Philips One Blade move fearlessly MVP. Is this also a Philips One Blade shade that you just got?
आप कह सकते हो.
Alright, we're going to take a break and we'll see you soon, shortly.
Hit for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Hit multiple wins, I get it in. same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. We're known for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage and say sing